in this, so it's exhausting, you know?
Dang it. I wanted to get you live. You were doing good.
Welcome to the show.
All right, we were waiting for Harley. He said he was going to be 10 minutes late, but now it's 2:12. Now he's 12 minutes late.
Yeah.
Anyways, we were talking about mindset and separating yourself from the exercise and training. Let's see what Cody has. So you guys said a lot of stuff. Thanks for commenting. If Harley's Instagram filter on his camera shows up, Cody's leaving. Well, get ready to leave because
his last comment.
I don't think he's got it fixed. Well, now you're here, and I want to stay. Oh, okay. So Jace, because Jace showed up, Cody wants to stay, and then it's just you and me, Jace, all alone. No one watching. Yeah, but then more people showed up, like Tristan. I wonder if he's still here watching. What's up, Tristan? Might want to send you a link, dude. Could send you a link. Oh, would have been great to hear it on the podcast. All right, we'll talk about it. But let's first say what Cody had to say. They should have changed the title from Bridging the Gap to Beating the Clock. Double entendre. That could. I like it. I like it. Yo. Oh, Renata. Hello. Jacqueline. Hello. Oh, Harley's ready. He's ready to be added to the stage. What's up,
right.
Instagram filter, dude? People are going to leave. They said they're going to leave if you show up with the Instagram filter. Here we are.
All right.
We were going to bring Tristan on. We were talking about separating people's identity from fitness and how much better you get when you do that.
I believe it.
Yeah. We were just using some real life human examples. That's why we didn't get on. But unless Tyler wants to reiterate the last point, which I think is good. He was talking about how you see athletes who can do that get better.
Yeah, like I mean, everybody knows Rich Froning's story of where like he was consumed by this thing and it was everything to him, and then he realized that like his life is meant to be more. He's more than just his podium finishing, and that you don't have to be identified by your placement in a competition to still be really good at fitness competition, whatever it is that you're doing. Like, and a lot of people that have realized that have still gone on to be great at whatever sport they're doing. And that when you are consumed by something, you're actually probably not as good at it as you could be if you weren't consumed by it and treated it with balance.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say balance, though. I hate that word. There's no balance. Life is always out of balance. I mean, ask Heather. She got a nail in her fucking tire on Thursday. It's 3 minutes in. I said the F word. It's out of balance. My tire's out of balance. Oh, my God.
You should probably regularly have your tires balanced.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to talk about balance tires,
it was a piece of metal from all the construction that's been happening in the parking lot.
Explain that. There's no metal. They're digging up the dirt.
It was a piece of the pipe. The water
pipe
main
is plastic.
Pipe. No.
Dang.
Yeah, it's blue plastic.
I literally saw it in the parking lot. It was metal.
Okay. Just like I did 6 rounds today, even though I did 7.
Oh, you.
Dude.
Don't. I'm not even going to argue with you.
This girl goes, all right, we'll let you have the pipe one. I'm going to go inspect later. But I get done, and she's like, oh, you got 6.
Let's look at the video. Let's look at the video. Let's bring it up on for everyone to see.
No one wants to see my poor fitness.
Right?
At the end of the day.
All right, so what are we talking about?
Well, we're going to tell a story. This is fun. We called it Bridging the Gap, just like you sent us on your text message with your AI phone on the way home.
AI phone? What? I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I'm hoping that you're not texting and driving. I'm trying to give you an out. Yeah. Anyways. No, Heather goes to come over. She's like, he did 6. And Cody's like, no, he did 7. And I'm like, I did 7. And then I calmly asked her if I did the first 4 rounds in 1:40, where did that extra 1:20 go, Heather?
Okay, let me give you the real backstory. So
I still want to know where that 1:20 went.
He's like 3-4 rounds in, and I'm like, okay, he's just under 2 minutes around. I'm like, okay, good. And then about 10 at the 10:15 mark, I was like, he finished 5. And I was like, okay, he's 6. A little bit behind. And then he's going. So I thought that he had finished 6 rounds. He's claiming that at the 10:15 he was at 6 minutes. Apparently, I missed a whole round.
No,
I could be wrong.
No.
I
I don't think
bring
you
the
missed.
camera.
I don't
Let's
think.
watch it.
I don't think you missed the whole round. What I think happened was because you and Cody were talking. That's totally fine.
I said that.
What-
That's
yeah,
probably
what-
happened.
What I think happened was because of the 20 seconds, I was bleeding into like the next round, and you
Mhm.
missed like
I know,
that.
I
bleed.
understand what you're saying. I just
Yeah,
apparently miscounted, but I kept telling you to bring the camera up, and you kept saying you were arguing, and I'm like, we have evidence. Like, let's just watch it. And see
I know
what
because
it
I
is.
was fixated on the fact that I know,
Well, then he
and
was
Cody
insulted
knew.
that I.
Yeah, I was also
miscounted.
yes, I was also insulted.
I don't think I.
And then I thought maybe it was because I beat her and she was upset by that. But then come to find out, she beat me by a whole fucking round. So I got smashed anyways. It doesn't even matter. If you guys didn't know, we're doing the Fittest of the
Yeah.
Coast
In
qualifier.
conclusion, I did smash him. Thanks.
We're doing the Fittest of the Coast qualifier. Heather's actually doing very well. I'm doing very poor. So there it is. But whatever. And then we fight and argue about workouts. Although it was pretty easy. So like bridging the gap, this is a good segue, Harley, unless you're going to say something. You want an intro?
I don't know, man. I think if you guys just identified more as who you are rather than the athlete and performance in the Fittest of the Coast qualifier, you guys would get along better.
Wait, what?
See what he did there?
No, I don't.
All right, whatever. Moving on, we're gonna
I
bridge the
could care.
gap.
I
Of,
could care less what I did. I didn't even want to do that workout. I watched. How many people did you watch go through it, Heather, in person?
30 plus.
And then
at
how many
least
people did you
50.
watch
I don't know.
remotely?
10.
Harley watched one. Steph McConnell, shout out. She's doing great also.
Steph and I were tied last week. Did you see that?
She got to beat her, dude.
I
Come on.
know.
Hey, Steph, if
Ooh,
you're watching
she's
this.
coming for me. I gotta.
No, yeah. No, you're
might-
coming for her.
No, I'm coming.
You're
for
how many?
her.
There you
I
go.
mean, well, she's already retested. So, and you've already retested.
Well, I was
They're
supposed
due
to
tonight.
retest today.
Listen.
All right,
was
what
supposed
was
to
your
retest
first score
today.
then?
No.
We
No,
have to find
you
out.
gotta
on the
wait.
board.
Tomorrow at noon. Tomorrow noon.
I'm not gonna. Well, Steph's already done, so
Eastern
it doesn't
time.
matter.
Doesn't matter. We're not putting it on here. Heather is in a group with some feisty women who I feel, if she said her score on here, would pony up and try to beat it if they're close. So no, we're not gonna say it on here. As Heather's coach, no, Harley.
All right, drop it in the private chat in the back.
Okay. Help Steph out.
I mean, he could go and coach.
Well,
her
Steph's
and
already
probably
done.
look
It
up.
doesn't matter. Steph's
no,
already
she's
done.
gonna pony up.
Yeah,
Go-
Cody got time
go-
capped for 14 minutes.
I got time capped on a 14-minute AMRAP. Oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
Oh, what was your score? 13 minutes.
Basically, that's when he fell apart. Dude, you have a minute to go. Just hang on. It's okay.
All right, can we bridge the gap from one topic to another?
Stop.
Oh,
Stop.
love
Stop. Stop.
Wait, what I want to know actually, speaking of doing 13 minutes and dying, did anyone in the class do 100
Time
ball
out.
balls
That's
unbroken
good.
and
No,
then die?
no. Stop changing the subject. We'll get to that. That's fine. I wanted to, because my point to this was like, because I've watched a lot of people and I've watched a ton of videos of people do this workout. And literally, I didn't want to do the work. I didn't do the workout when you guys did it because Marissa and I went up to Canada and then I just I kept procrastinating. I could have did it Monday and I was like, there's no way I want to do this workout from watching. I didn't tell anybody this until today because you don't want to dampen people's mindset and performance. But I was like, this workout is just the worst. Dude,
It was
people
pretty-
are
pretty sucked. Yeah, it sucked.
okay. Well, Steph's not going hard enough, and you didn't watch enough people to do this workout, Harley, of varying degrees. It is just mayhem. You get to 7:38 minutes, and everybody is just dying. And yes, okay, even elite athletes watching Cody, he made it look easy for what he did, and Luca also. But they're hanging on to the reins by a thread,
Mhm.
and like any hiccup is going to just spiral them out of control. And you're like, dude, yeah, these qualifiers are shit this
I
year.
agree, Tristan.
Right.
I agree.
Put your thesis in the comments. Unless you're free, we'll bring you on. But anyway, I don't really want to talk about the whole qualifiers. But it is hard as a coach. This is why I was going with it. And that's why even Heather, and she came in to do a redo. She texted me. She'll be here at 11. Cody already asked me to help him at 10. And I was like, all right, well, that's cool. And then I was like, that's going to pull me away from having to do this. I might just not even do it because Sophia and I are on a team and we suck and we're not even qualifying. Like, unless nobody goes to the event, we're not getting in. So I was like, I just don't need to do this because how terrible it looked. And then I just told Heather, I was like, there's no reason for you to do this because yes, you might get a few reps better, which is what most people are getting. But to go through all of that,
Yeah.
you're doing 80 plus shoulder to overhead.
Well, that's the thing. It's
The guy at
definitely
our
like
gym got
it's a
10
sneaky
rounds.
workout. Like people
Yeah,
are like,
dude.
oh, it's fine. And it's like the volume, just if you could
Oh,
do
I
that volume, we'll just
Did he do
Destroy
15
you.
toes to bar or 10 though?
15.
Oh shit. All right, good job.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
pretty fit.
Yeah, most everybody did 10 rounds. But that at the end of the day, 100 shoulder overhead, 90 to 100 shoulder overhead, like when you're falling in that group.
Yeah,
Dude.
dude. I mean, that's why I made that face when you're like, oh, this workout's the worst. And I'm just like, kinda. It's just the game that you're signing up for, man.
I mean, yes, you're not wrong.
What do you mean?
It's
I
a
mean-
qualifier workout, high turnover, high
Yeah,
rep
yeah.
speed. Just like we all know what it takes. We all know how it feels.
Yeah, but last week's
like-
workout wasn't like that. You know
no,
what I mean?
because
there's
it was a
certain
shitty
workouts-
programmed week, to Tristan's point.
Mhm.
Like,
What I'm saying is,
yeah,
like,
this week was sick. Week 1 was pretty cool. Week 2, half the scores, half the points available were just lame tests.
I mean, if
No,
you
they were
did
lame.
if you did like Luca in 4:45
I mean, Luca's not even human. Let's be real.
last week, I mean, the problem is,
But then you're
That's
lumping
an
hundreds
easier-
of people into a 40-second spread,
sure,
30-second spread. It's lame.
yeah.
It's
I don't
not-
want to argue with the scoring and like the lumping
That's-
of the scoring where everybody's at. What I'm saying is the workout inducing factor. Because like even Jay's saying like, oh, you're being mentally weak. It's like, no, I'm just evaluating the workout and what it does. This what every coach says in the front of a whiteboard, whether they're right or wrong or indifferent, the stimulus of the workout. And this
This week
one
was good.
If you are a good athlete, you are getting trapped into a place where you kind of have to hold the line, light yourself on fire. It's like it is actually very similar to the workout that Jace, because it's got double unders, toes to bar, and the squat cleans, and it's 20 minutes. This one's 14 from Crash Crucible that he just did. But like that amount of you got to hold it and suffer, and the pace that some of the other guys were moving at, and like everyone who's trained knows that place, and this workout is taking you that place. And if you do, I'm just blunted. I've done this for 15 years. Like I think Harley's probably blunted a little bit too from intensity like that,
I
where
don't
you
go hard anymore.
but
Dude,
you can see a workout and you go, fuck.
All right, how do you like this comment? So I jumped in class. I've been jumping in class. It's been fun. I mean, class workouts are hard. That said, a member was like, oh, it's really cool that you're jumping in class. Like, it's fun to have you in class. And then also you get to know what we're going through too. And I'm like, I've been doing this for 10 plus years. I know exactly what you're going through.
Well, I mean,
And they didn't like that response. They really were just
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
And
But I
I'm
mean,
like-
that's kind of in line with like Jace's comment too, a little bit, right? Because like I've done this long enough, and and I held the line on my workout also. So even towing the line, regardless of at the end of the day, if let's say you get 2 rounds or you get 20 rounds, as long as you held the line of your capacity, I don't think you're mentally weak by looking at a workout and knowing what it's going to ensue and induce, and then holding the line.
Tristan.
Laugh my ass off. Read the room, Harley. No, he doesn't need to read the room. That was a semi-appropriate response. Those fools need to read the room.
Yeah. that's-
Wait a minute. That's
that's
Tristan.
funny.
I'm not sending you a link now. You.
oh, come on.
I'm just kidding. I would love to send you a link, but read the room, Tristan. They came up and they asked for fire from him. You know, how are you going to come up to a guy who went to semifinals and has competed a bunch of times and be like, "Oh, it's so great that you now know what we're going through." Like,
Well,
I
they
know.
probably don't even know he's been to semifinals.
Oh, they better know.
No,
They
they
probably don't even
shit.
know all that.
Oh, well then, okay, never mind. Read
They
the
don't
room.
I mean,
care.
they're not even. I mean,
If I told them at the semifinals, I'd be like, cool. What's that?
Yeah, right. I'm like, you're not.
Okay.
Even
No one cares.
affiliated.
Oh
I
my
didn't know
God.
that.
Well, that's weird. Now the whole conversation is convoluted and weird. I don't understand why okay, let's back this up. The point of that is that they want to know how much fun and I want to say fun, but pain and suffering that they're going through because you're writing the programming and they're saying an offhanded joke, actually giving you a compliment because they probably love the programming that you're writing. And it was like a nudgy, hey man, I love the programming you read, but also I love that you're here right now. But additionally to the fact that like you've done this for almost 2 decades. It's like I've done a burpee or two, homie. Like, come on.
Yeah, and to Tristan's point, I did read the room after that because they got real weird after. Not real weird. They just, I could tell that the conversation took a different turn than I was anticipating from that reaction, like my response. And so then I just said, I'm actually really excited to be here too. And they're like, that's all I wanted to say. And I was like, for sure, I hear you.
I feel like that the whole thing though needs more explanation. I feel like there's a lot of deep stuff in there in that whole interaction.
Yeah, I don't know.
You gotta do like hi, welcome to the class today. My name's Harley. If you guys have not met me, I've done CrossFit since 2016, 2015. I've been to regionals 2014. Just give them the whole thing. Be like, and if you're new here, I would love that if you just embarked on this fitness journey and knew how much I love this as well. And I've been here for a long time. And these muscles didn't grow themselves.
I just introduced myself as I'm the new guy. I joined the gym in July.
That's probably part of your problem. Oh man, it was a joke. Relax, guys.
Correct. All right. So we're gonna bridge the gap to another conversation. We're just gonna keep talking about randomness.
I mean, this was kind of fun. It's only 16 minutes in, but yeah, Marissa gave me some good fire that we can talk about, or I like the idea of bridging the gap in the space. And I would like to also start doing some things where we look at performance and health, because I think the more I've started to do this, because we are rebranding and bringing some people in for our gym, and like you work at Arsenal Health, so I think it plays well. And the more I talk through these things and like work with people in these things, and people are going to hate this, the sport and health are like so intertwined. It's crazy. And only because I'm starting to really talk more about like, well, okay, we're going to do this for this health metric, and why do we grow muscle, and what does that do to our insulin? And then I'm like, well, that's probably why athletes can eat more carbohydrates than non-people, NARPs, because they have less muscle than an athlete. And so like the whole thing, like you're going down this tunnel together, and maybe someone's, a little faster at burpees and pull-ups than somebody else, but ultimately like you're going this road together.
Well, isn't that the argument that we've always been saying, that CrossFit and sport are the same thing?
Yeah, well, some people don't agree with that.
I know, but that's another argument for that point, right?
Yeah, I was just saying how like I like it now. So when we talk about bridging the gap, it works for all people who are willing. Do you agree or disagree, Harley?
Yeah, no, I think when you're saying bridging the gap to sport, it's available to all people. That's what you just said.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I was thinking more of like, how do you bridge the gap from off season to the competitive season? How do you bridge the gap from weakness work into sport specific work? How do you bridge the gap from developmental stuff to competing? That's what I was thinking. But because of the qualifiers ending, we're leading into November, and then we're going to be, before you know it, open.
Well, I'm just dumb.
Prepping.
I'm just dumb because I thought those were 3 different topics on your thing. I didn't know they're all linked together.
I just meant like,
yeah, I got it now.
They're sequential.
I got it now. You're double spacing between the I thought they're all
and like 3 dots. I'm just like,
I got it.
So misleading.
They're all in one. Got it.
But how do you bridge the gap from just training for health to competition? Is you just do a little bit more of training.
Perfect.
A little more focused work.
More and more. All right. Well, no, I'd rather talk about bridging the gap from not qualifying to qualifying, or like maybe, like you said, what you're going to do right now. Because I think a lot of people, other than the Fittest of the Coast qualifier, which is going to end next week, the qualifier, well, CJ and I talked about this last night, actually, on our call, getting ready for Lowlands. Shout out. We're giving everybody shout outs today. This is great.
When does she leave? Soon?
Yeah, Netherlands next
Tuesday.
Yeah, next week. But like TFX happened, Wadapalooza's happening, correct?
Yeah.
Fittest of the Coast is happening. NCC is gonna be in January, so that's a little further out. But it typically
and Desert City is next week, essentially 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. So like the qualifier for those earlier. There's one.
Well, I just meant like
right now.
That's kind of the last event in my mind before the off season. So we have like 2 weeks of like events unfolding, and then we have like the off season.
Yeah. I think it's pretty interesting actually because we laid out some other comps, CJ and I, and like for some people, like let's start, because you want to bridge the gap. Let's start over here. someone who's not gotten to a competition, because the way that the comps are and when they are, would you guys say that most of the qualifying process is between the months of end of August to about November, maybe, for like bigger ones, not like your local whatever?
I'd say more like right after semifinals, because I feel like
Okay.
even what Legends was in the summer.
Yeah, but not
July.
everybody
Yeah.
can do that. Not everybody
No,
can do
oh,
that.
that's
But
true.
here's
But
the
I
thing.
feel like there are some. It's like after semifinals.
I'm just saying, like all-inclusive teams,
Yeah.
Indies and Masters, which is like Fittest of the Coast,
Yeah.
Desert. There's like a lot. I like those comps better now. I don't think I less like the Master-only events now. Coming from the guy who's been to a million of them.
I think that there's sort of the season, it's a year-round calendar at this point. There's qualifiers that happen late spring, end of season, end of open season, quarterfinal season, that give you an opportunity to go onto a floor sometime in the fall. And then there's fall qualifiers that give you spring opportunities. And I think that spring and early summer opportunities. And then there's like a couple that are like January-ish, Monster Games, NorCal Classic, that will give you summer opportunities. I think that's genuinely almost like a 12-month cycle now. It's just the biggest ones or the most clustered opportunities are fall qualifiers for spring events or early winter or late winter events. And then the opposite, late spring events for fall events. I think those are like the two clusters. And then there's like the random ones that throw them 1 week before the open. And it's like, what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah, there's
What
some
do
weird
you
ones like NCC.
Sure.
But I think they're going to be a semifinal again. And
Yeah.
CJ and she speculated. I was like, yeah, let's just play the speculation game. That's going to only be for like the RX Masters divisions, and then they're going to use the Open for the actual Open people, which I think would be a better system. Because you look at
They're gonna do that?
Well, yeah, because my indicator is you go to the TFX Instagram, and it says invitational and it says championships in their bio. And the invitational, I think, would indicate, because they called it the invitational last year.
Would be the semifinal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think NCC is going to do a similar thing, which I like. And I think they should. I think CrossFit is, especially with the games going to California and them trying to rein things back in, I think they're gonna choke hold it a little bit more than last year. Yeah. See, Tristan already knows. He's in Texas. TFX will be another semifinal again. I'm almost certain.
Yeah, I mean, and back to Jace's comment right above
Well,
that.
that's where we're gonna get at. So we like laid it out already, and that's where you got to start and look at. You know, one pick your comp that's geographically close or someplace that you want to travel to. And my bias would be, hey, look, you might even want to delete the Open and other stuff if that's not like your track and goal, until one day that the CrossFit space decides on a point system and you got to do the Open and these other events don't segment themselves. But I don't see how the other events would make any money if they do that. And so like you could build your season, like what Jace is saying. And I don't think it's dependent on your skill level, because all these comps at this point, there are games levels people doing elite, like Paige Semenza is doing elite team in Fittest of the Coast. So like your skill level doesn't play a role. Like you have to be an elite athlete to qualify in the pro division of the teams if those types of people are signing up, which happens often in a lot of comps nowadays. So you would only decide based on what you want your season to look like, and say you want to do the chunk here, TFX, Fittest, and Wodapalooza, and you're just trying to do qualifiers for a 3-month stint. And then the rest of the 9 months is your season based on what you want to qualify for and you deem worthy. That's one example.
Yes.
All right, Heather agrees. What do you got, Harley?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's step one. Really acknowledge where you are and how much lead up to an event you need for your own development to be competitive enough to go. Be realistic of what division you should be signing up for, and then find the competitions that have the access points for the level you either aspire to be or are currently at. if your main goal is to go get experience in person and you're on the bubble of like, I'm not really an RX person, I would have to have like the perfect deal of cards for all of my strengths, go sign up intermediate. It doesn't matter. But if you really want to go gain life experience, competitive endeavors, and like have those fun moments, don't let your pride or ego get in the way of signing up for intermediate. Or if you qualify for RX, Cody, go and compete and like try to gain experience on the competition floor, because the reality is you don't know how the weekend's going to shake out at the in-person event. If you do qualify to a lower tier, you may have a really hard deal of the cards at that event. You may have a bad outcome even in a lower field. That said, you may have a moment where you get to race, you get to actually compete for a podium spot, and you get to gain experience on how to push outside of yourself. And you have these really highlight moments that build momentum that you can take into the next season, the next event. So like, for context, Jace at TFX 2 years ago barely qualified in the RX division. He was like 60th place or 70th place in the qualifier. He showed up and got second in the RX division. So it's like, just because he could have been like, oh, I'm really far out, like I don't know how I'm going to be. He just accepted the invite, was like, sick, I get to go and learn. He trained his ass off, got a lot better, showed up. The way the workouts played out, he had a great time. Back to my own anecdote. I missed Elite Division by 5 spots at Granite Games Team of 3. I showed up. We won RX Division. It was a momentum building moment for me and my friends that year. And it's some of my fondest memories. I don't think that, and Stephanie last year at Fittest was a backfill. And she showed up and took like top 10 and had a phenomenal time. And I think that helped her build a ton of momentum through the season. And now she's crushing it this year. So I think that you need to be realistic where you are, find the opportunities that can give you the experience, and go out and have a good time when and where it fits in your schedule. And to Todd's point, if there's a cool event that's in a good location or near you, go to that one. Like, figure it out what's appealing to you and what's going to actually give you the experience and the outcome you want.
Yeah. Also be careful of this though, because like, just to be contrarian about it, Tristan signing up Scaled now because Harley told me to. So that's not what he's saying. But because that can be problematic in a way, like he's saying, be realistic and go to the comps like in those scenarios that you laid out. Like Marissa and CJ got a backfill also, same scenario, and then they got third at Fittest. And so like, don't discredit the backfill like he's saying. But, and I know you're joking, Tristan, but it's a good thing to bring up because what's happening in the intermediate division of Fittest of the Coast right now, those gentlemen should not be in intermediate. They need to be in RX and trying to push themselves. And they're taking spots and opportunity from what Harley's saying. Right. So yes, joking, but I do, as a disclaimer, and to be the other side of the coin, be realistic, like Harley's saying, and don't be in there taking spots because you want to have an opportunity. Because like you can go both ways with that. Like in the stories he gave, people were afraid, and Jace put in here he was super afraid of being last at that comp and then ended up on the podium. Quality example of doing the right thing, being in the right division, and taking the chance and opportunity and competing and getting, that experience and that exposure. And I would argue, till I'm blue in the face, that win created the winner's win and the momentum, like Harley said, for you. I think that was your breakout point. And I've had athletes like Jen Botcher do the same thing. She stood on the podium at Legends and then was like, I'm making it to the games, and then made it to the games the following year. So like, you have those pivotal moments. On the other side though, don't be out there taking spots so people can get their pivotal moments. Cause there's these dudes in that first workout getting scores better than the pro guys. And it was the same workout in intermediate. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to give the benefit. It might be like some high Roxy, Fitty Fit style people.
No, but there was like the top 100 people were getting
Heather's
crazy
upset about
scores.
It. But you're more upset than I am.
So, well, because I have athletes in that division that want to compete. Yeah, it makes me mad.
All right, good. Get upset. That's good. Fire up. Let's hear it.
No, I'm just saying, like the first workout, there was literally the top 50 to 100 guys getting 3 rounds in the first workout. Should definitely be in RX division. And then there's guys in there saying that they had over 100 chest to bar and complaining on Instagram about how they didn't have bar muscle ups in intermediate. I'm like, intermediate athletes are getting like 10 to 20 and or maybe, right? And they're just like doing ones
Chest
and
bar, yeah.
twos. No, if it was bar muscle ups, right?
Oh,
like they
yeah,
would be
yeah.
nervous about it being bar muscle ups. But like these guys are out here freaking complaining and pissed off that there's no bar muscle ups. And I'm just like you're in the wrong division.
Yeah. And take an opportunity from other
Right.
people.
Yeah, I mean, if you know you're gonna like, if you know you're an RX, a bubble RX person, in the sense that like you're gonna get last in the qualifier, you're gonna be like middle of the pack, bottom quarter. Go sign up intermediate. That's fine. If you are like, if you're just
Well,
scared,
the main
if you're
point-
just scared to lose and not
Right. And
go,
you're not just
like,
going to get an
yeah.
opportunity to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
that- you're-
not where you need to be.
Yeah, your main point is dead on. I just want to bring that because real life thing that's happening right now in the fittest of the coast. And we're like, what is happening?
Right.
But yeah, just to bring that to awareness too and evaluate it appropriately, and don't be a shit and do stuff like that. It's not great. Look at Mercer's getting in the chat
Right.
about there's
Well,
errors the programming.
that
We covered. You got it. Okay, Tristan's upset about the programming. It's not the best program in the entire world. No one could do it better than J.R. Howe. Okay, we get it.
That was good. I like that.
Jeez
Yeah.
That was
Louise.
good. Well played.
We got it. We got it. Okay. Anyways, scaled would be chest. Okay, I'm not talking about this anymore. Move on. So bridging the gap. So you got your season. You know you're evaluating yourself. Like, what does it take in these qualifiers? I mean, for Jace, don't be scared. He's hard. He's hard AF. One sheet, one fork by himself. You know.
Mhm.
You know, if it's not hard enough, you're not scared. It's not good enough for you. You gotta be mentally tough, apparently. Anyways, what does it really take? Because yeah, mountain toughness is a facet, but
What does it take to qualify to an event? What does it take to do what? Sign up for your first event?
well,
your
that just
question?
takes your time. Sign
That's a
up
little
and
clickety
get 'em
click.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, clickety click clack.
I think it's
No,
a lot
because
more
really-
for a lot of people.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's
think
true.
it's even just like evaluating what you actually want to do and like going back to Harley's point and being like, okay, what do I want to qualify for? What event is close to me? Whatever, right? And then actually evaluating that because sometimes you get people that are just like, I want to sign up for this one and that one and this one and that one, or they sign up like 5 minutes before the qualifier ends and they're like, okay, and then you're like have no preparation for anything. So I think like going back to like like looking at the whole year and being able to train for something and not just get in this like serial sign up, show up and go and like actually have intention and have something on the calendar. I think a lot of athletes sometimes just get in this like training cycle and they never want to sign up for anything because they're just like afraid, oh, I'm not good enough or I'm not going to make it and they don't want to put themselves out there. So I think it's like good to pick something and just even get the experience by doing the qualifiers. And like there's so much to learn from that too. And doing the videos and putting yourself out there and that's part of competing in the process.
All right, so I'm working out. I want to do a qualifier. I've decided, hey, look, fittest of the coast or whatever. TFX looks fun. I want to go to Texas. What's the next step of that for people? What should they start asking of their coach, of themselves? What's the next step?
Well, if they haven't done so already, it's probably if they have a coach, they should tell the coach that that's what they're planning on doing.
Right.
Solid. Good choice.
First off, communicate. Secondly, ideally from there, you're going to start looking at past qualifiers. If you know the event, you ideally know some of their programming biases because like it's
There's
the
program
same,
bias.
there's
Yeah.
a ton of biases in programming.
We all have it.
We all have it. We all can read it. I mean, well, maybe we all can't read it, but a lot of people can see
We
trends.
can read it.
We can read it.
Tristan can read it.
Kristen can absolutely read it. And if you know the biases and you know the trends of the programmer, you can get a really great preparation cycle leading into qualifiers, leading into events, and get people really close to where they need to be for the set of tests that they're going to be, laid out in front of them that they have to perform. So I think communicating your coach so that you can have the best lead up possible is a great step. If you do not have a coach, then get a coach or, continue
We're taking athletes, by the way. If you guys want to sign up,
there you go. If you want to sign up,
we're taking athletes. We got spots. We'll get you to qualify.
I believe it. And next thing, look at the highest or look at the qualifiers biases if you can. If you can't, look at general RX level movement patterns, skills, and loading. Can you do those things? Check 1. Can you do them? Okay. Step 2.
Normally they have a list for you when you sign up. It's nice.
Correct. Yeah. Read that list. And if you don't know what common movement patterns and loading are, read that list. If you know what they are already, then start to develop those movement patterns regularly and implement them into your training weekly. And if you have 1 or 2 of them that you see that scare you, to Jace's point, do them 2 to 3 times a week. Every 1 to 2 days, you can implement repetitive skill work in a low intensity environment to fill the gap and improve the movement quality of whatever the skill is. So let's say you need to work bar muscle ups, do some drills 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? Not saying do 1,000 of them, but just get some regular exposure so you can refine the movement pattern and get better at the skill.
So like in that process, and you guys chime in, Tyler, chime in,
Please
man.
do.
You're good at doing limitation training is what we call it, because TTT calls it that. OPEX calls it that. A lot of people on the internet call it that. So limiter training, you try to find that, tweeze it out. It maybe doesn't always need 3 times a week. It depends on what it is. Like you could just do that, but you might dampen other training. And like even Tristan, like that is probably a good tactic if you're tall, to triple the amount of burpees, I would say, and dumbbell snatch,
And get comfortable squatting fast.
Yeah, because you do have to move a larger range of motion. As a tall guy, it is tough, but not impossible. And you could do more volume. That's a way, right? You could work on your cycle speed, shorter sprinty work, and spread it out a lot to get the volume, like Tristan's saying. But yeah, so when you're looking at it, limiter training, where do you start? So you've looked at the movement list, you've looked at old qualifiers, and let's say you can do. Let's just use the fittest of the coast because we just did that. And let's use the bar muscle up / chest to bar workout. The time domain is you got to do shuttles. It's a 90-second window. You got to do shuttles with the farmers. We all know that's about 30 seconds for most people, plus or minus a few seconds. So you're going to work for a minute. So if someone's struggling with that, right off the bat, I look at it and go, okay, training structure, 1 minute AMRAPs to build capacity with people. And it's auto-regulated because you can do what you can do. And then you give them a rest period, and that rest period may be different to person, and you're just trying to make sure that they can repeat their effort across and become sustainable. So if they can do 5 a minute, the goal is then they have to do 5 rounds in that workout, but you could play with 3 to 10 rounds, however many you're expecting, the demand or the ask of the competition or whatever competition they're looking at, and you build that out to be consistent. 5 reps a minute with, let's say, a minute rest, and do that over and over and over. That'd be the simplest way to build out consistency, volume, and put it under some intensity. And there's 1,000 ways to do that. But how else would someone want to look at that? And because is even today or at the toes to bar thing, Cody, I hope you're still watching, but Cody texts Merson's I need to do 200 toes to bar. It's toes to bar is the problem. I mean, people hone in on the thing that they did, and then they're like, it's a toe to bar problem. It's is it though? Because that's bridging the gap. You gotta not do that. I think that was my biggest point as a coach to people. Don't do that. That's such an old school thing of it's the problem of the toe to bar. And I think we're beyond that. I think unless you guys have another viewpoint, I think we're beyond that in Cody. It is the toe to bar. I think we're beyond that, versus being no, let's look at the totality, zoom out a little bit. And it might be the toe to bar, but it might not be,
I think it could, if we're sticking with toes to bar, it could be a toes to bar issue in way of leaking energy, as opposed to just I need to do 200 toes to bar in a session kind of thing,
Yeah.
But I also do think that there is some space for the volume that you've done or have in you, because someone that's, they can knock out 20 toes to bar in a session, and then they come and do a qualifier like this one, the toes to bar might actually be a problem. But if all things are equal, then
that's really
Well, it's interesting that you said that about leaking energy, because Cody did say that was what he thought his problem was in his toes to bar, was that he was losing tension through his reps and that he was leaking energy basically.
Mhm.
And so his movement quality degraded faster, and it wasn't necessarily like he couldn't do the volume, I guess, but
Yeah.
Maybe, possibly, but Tristan is right, and Harley can chime in. Is that like if you got to do the volume, or you won't ever be able to do the volume fast, which
Mhm.
is true,
right.
right? So there is like the limiter of, Cody doesn't need to do 200 toes a bar, which is what his response was. It's like, no, you just need to do 150 faster,
Mhm.
and like get that
I mean,
resiliency to the
150 is
speed.
still hot, but
Yeah.
Well, because he did 100, he did 150 basically.
I
So
know.
like,
But that's what I'm saying. Like the demand of toes bar now is in workouts and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
qualifiers is 100 plus reps.
right.
I mean, when I think of like gold standard of a given movement, it's like what's the most that someone could do unbroken? And you see like James Newberry doing 100 unbroken toe to bar.
But
And
that's
it's
not
like,
everybody.
I'm not saying that's everyone.
That's wild.
I'm not saying that's everyone. What I'm saying is like you look at Karen, people are doing 150 wall balls unbroken. That's a lot more people than 100 toes to bar are
Yeah.
doing 150 wall balls. And so it's like, what are these numbers that people one can do unbroken? 30 muscle ups, right? And it's like we should be trying to build out the repeatability to get, I would probably say like 150% of like what the max potential of an unbroken set could be. So like, let's say you said 150 in that qualifier. Well, James Newberry's doing 100. So that would be like 150. All right, cool. Okay, 150 wall balls. People are doing that unbroken. So like we should probably have a volume tolerance of like 200 across the session. Is that necessary all the time? No. But through a volume accumulation phase and like late off season, early preseason, that's probably where your numbers should be, just from a tolerance to the contraction volume. And then as you get closer to your qualifier, closer to your event, whatever your peak is, then you should be trying to increase density rather than just accumulating total volume. And you should be doing it in settings that replicate race pace speed. So like the number of set reps you might be seeing in a multiple round workout. Maybe it's like 4 rounds or 3 rounds of 50 wall balls and 400 meter running your heart out, right? It's probably a 8 to 10 minute workout, not the craziest thing ever, but it's just hurts, right? Like, because it's a pain sport and we have to be able to not only express a ton of volume, a ton of reps, but we have to do it in a very short time domain, right?
Mhm.
So to Cody's point is like, oh, I want to be able to do 200. It's like, you know how many times in my life I've done 200 toes bar in a session, Cody? I'm not saying that I'm the pinnacle, but like probably like once, like ever.
Yeah.
And there was a mistake. Like, I misgauged an AMRAP. And I'm like, I did so many reps.
Yeah, I mean that, like Tristan's saying, the landmarks of the volume are really high and get kind of silly. So I was gonna add the layer of like, okay, yeah, you got the outliers that do 100 unbroken. Like I'm an outlier in just one set of toe to bar. I can use like 70 unbroken, but that's just a party trick because you put me in a workout and I can't
That's why I said the buzzword repeatability, right?
Yeah,
like,
right. And so then there's also the thing, like I use a different formula for that kind of stuff. Like I love doing drop sets with people where it's toes to bar into like V-ups or toes to bar into ski erg because you get that anterior flexion. Thumbs up. I like GHDs and toes to bar. I like
that's what I was gonna say.
and getting more volume that way. I was thinking about the wall ball example, like, across the week. I think people don't you talk about bridging the gap, looking at a training plan. And I don't know if this needs to be explained at all because where the coach is writing training, but as an athlete, you should start to see like, okay, well, I did push press or whatever. I did shoulder overhead and I did 20 reps at shoulder overhead. I've done front squats. I've done squat cleans. I have done some wall balls. All that volume throughout the week gets accumulated. And even I would argue it's like macros. It's on a continuum. Like it never changes. Even though we use the week time or we use the daily time, that's a human construct that was made up. Your body doesn't know that. It's a continual thing that happens over and over and over. So like, even if I am looking at the total volume of work throughout the week and movement patterns that are similar and translatory across, just because I haven't done wall balls. Well, I've done kipping handstand push-ups. It's basically a wall ball. I've done thrusters, also a wall ball. I did front squats and split jerks, also a wall ball. So you're like improving the wall ball even without doing the wall ball. Now you could isolate if there's a huge problem like Harley's saying and just like attack wall balls. That's one of the simplest ways to do it. But I just wanted to add the value and layer of like you're doing so many transitory movement patterns. And like Greg used to say, the second wave adaptations instead of third wave, because like just doing more wall balls would be third wave adaptations or specialization, which is what he wanted to avoid. I do think 100% you should have some specialization depending on the deficiency. But it's crazy to think like that's something to add too when you're trying to bridge the gap is look at all the stuff that the coach is prescribing and take a step back instead of, Cody saying I need to do 200 toes to bar. It's like, well, maybe not.
Maybe you need to do 30 GHDs as fast as possible and do a max unbroken set of toes to bar. Do that.
That would be lit. That would be lit in a lot of ways.
I mean, I've actually done that progression. It's really, really gross.
When the
It's
other
fun.
problem
It
is-
works. It makes you really resilient.
And using toe to bar as
reflection.
an example, like everybody in the comments and all of us have experienced low ab or upper ab cramping from toes to bar, which puts you into a halt. And people are like, well, how do I fix the cramping? It's like, well, you're cramping because you just like push yourself like almost to a near rhabdo situation. Like, so that's hard too. Cause like, dude, that 30 GHCs into max total might give somebody rhabdo. If you are listening to this, do not
Don't
do that. Unless you are under the guided supervision of one of these CrossFit coaches.
Or if you have been training for 8 to 9 years doing 100 GHGs plus every week, 100 toes to bar every week for like 5 years, you'll probably be okay. Probably, maybe.
Probably. Still disclaimer.
Dude, even GHGs. Remember when Jordan Junta, he would tell me about the laxity in the spine that GHGs cause and everything else, and would like stay away from GHGs. And I agree. I mean, the science is there; it's sound. He's a chiropractor. He also Prescript. They got a great educational platform. If you guys want to check them out, I coach Jordan. He's still at Sundown doing cool shit. But yeah, I actually don't program GHGs at all unless they're going to come up in a competition because I hate them.
I do GHGs all the time. I love GHGs.
Hey,
so much.
some people can do it, I guess. But because
I'm not like a DeTwilly or whatever.
Dude,
Alexis
spinal.
Did so many GHGs every week.
Okay, well, we had to call the ambulance because she blew her back out from doing that.
Dang.
So
Yeah, exactly.
So there you go. You got Harley on one end who could just, and you got somebody else on the other end.
I mean, this isn't the most voluminous, but it was fairly dense. I did 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rope climbs, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 GHG sit-ups yesterday. I haven't done GHGs in probably like 3 weeks. I'll say 3 weeks.
Sore, not sore.
Medium.
I mean, if CJ did that, she would be crippled.
wait, what was that?
He's feeling it out.
I feel my abs.
He's feeling
I'm
it.
good.
He's feeling it
I'm
out.
good. I don't know. I did 7.5 minutes. That's like a 4.5 rope climb, ready to travel a minute, and like 25 GHGs a minute. It's pretty good. Medium good.
All right. So once you shore up all of those like limiters, because we're talking about like fixed double unders, right? Get a little bit more, increase your volume. What is like the next sticking point that people reach?
I don't know. I was hoping you were going to tell me with this conversation.
I could tell you, but I'm trying to pull it out. Tyler, tell us, what do you think the next sticking point that athletes and what they most commonly say after that? Like, you got a pretty good volume base.
I need
can
to
move
do
the
it
bar.
under fatigue.
That's a good one.
Right.
That's
I
a
can't
good
do
one.
it under fatigue. My
Yeah.
my legs blow up. My arms blow up. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Everything blew up. Okay, what does that mean?
Yeah. So then it's just like it's introducing all this stuff into chaos and like doing it with other things that take away the your ability to do the contractions, right? So now you have to start adding in I think, Todd, how do you put it? It's the fighting off fatigue. Is that the way you put
Interference
it?
Training?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, interference training, but like starting it. So doing, if we're doing toes to bar, we're doing a 15-minute EMOM, or let's go a 10-minute EMOM with 15 every minute. So we've done the 150. Okay. Well, we've only done toes to bar. So now we need to start doing toes to bar with something that now you're breathing, but it's not interfering with the movement itself. So, echo or a C2 and toes to bar EMOM. So there we go from there. And then we start going into interference stuff where it's like rowing and toes to bar or skiing and toes to bar, to where you're now doing the volume with all of these other things that are also taking away from those same contractions. So you are
Total bar is a hard. I mean, you're doing a great job. Total bar is generally, just for a side, hard example because it is a global
Mhm.
movement.
Mhm.
yeah.
Like,
There's
for
few
your
things you
body.
can do that doesn't interfere
Yeah,
with
because
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but you're doing a wonderful. It just so people know, like total bar is like already dampened because of the movement pattern. So just like
Yeah.
thrusters, like there's not much you can do with thrusters. Like you should just do more like heavy thrusters.
Yeah.
Like the second you add something to it, it's like holy shit. It doesn't matter what you add to it. It's just like, oh my god. But yeah, total bar because it is a global movement. But anyways, keep going. I just want to add that. Keep going.
I don't remember where I was at, to be honest with you.
Oh, just building it out and like integrating in with.
Oh yeah, so doing it in like cyclical interference, and then you can start adding in like mixed interference of, you know, like you were saying, like thrusters and toes to bar, or rope climbs and toes to bar, or whatever, so that you're now doing these things, quote unquote, under fatigue. But what I like the way Todd says it, because it's more of like you're teaching your body to fight off the fatigue in these movement patterns that have been a weakness for you.
Yeah, the fatigue resistance, and I get that more from like CSCS. So like the idea in sprinters is you do this in CrossFit. You're seeing it more and more, but a variable rest interval like that, and you see it rest as needed. Like that's the classic. But you take an Olympic sprinter and you start training them, you're going to dial in what their sprint interval needs to be so their capacity stays the same, because that's all that matters. That teaches the body over time to produce that, recycle the energy, and fight off any interrupters or fatigue that's going to happen or dampen your 200-meter run. So like if you run 200 meters and let's say you start out with a 5-minute rest, you know, to keep that up, often they'll try to decrease it. Most Olympic sprinters, though, are not going to try to build robustness and capacity because they're going to do it one time. But then you got to start building it that way as well. Oh yeah, thanks, man. Actually, one of my heroes, Charlie Francis. Yeah, so that's like why I coined it that way. It's a little bit different than the CrossFit space. Look up Charlie Francis if you want. Anyways, the other thing too is like I was thinking about this too, a higher level idea once you've built out your skills and you're doing things in mixed modal settings and you're trying to make it chaotic, like Tyler said, and everything else, like bridging your gap, working with your coach, because you're not going to understand this. And we have testing protocols that can help people understand whether you're delivery limited or like oxygen uptake limited. And we can do that remotely. The best is the Moxie monitors, or if you follow someone like Wide Science, they're doing a lot. They have he has the great one on Fran right now where like you just like pin it because you're, you know, 70 seconds in or whatever, you're anaerobic. And they show the Moxie graph on there and how you just strips the muscle of oxygen. And like, that's one of your prime recovery systems. And you can push that out. I think if I've seen Moxie tests on people with 150 wall balls in their quadriceps, who are elite level CrossFitters, one of which Colleen Foch, who they don't lose oxygen saturation because they are so aerobic and powerful. And the contraction itself is so easy and light for them. And so their delivery of oxygen is very good. But then you take her out and she historically is not a very good runner. But so then, you know, her uptake might be really bad. And you could see that on VO2 max test oxygen exchange, and they can run you through that. You can't do it on your Garmin or Apple. You have to actually go to a place. And you could try it and figure it out, but with your Garmin and Apple, and just try to run because they have like equations and stuff, and it's pretty close. But I think for me, when I look at people like doing these qualifiers at the peak pinnacle of performance, it layers beyond just like, oh, I'm bad at toes to bar, I got to do it under fatigue or interference. It's like you have like a biological limitation that has nothing to do with the movements themselves specifically. Yeah, Colleen was a sprint swimmer, but not a great runner. She became a very good runner by working with James Fitzgerald. Well, actually, was she with James? No, she was with Sam. Yeah, Sam.
Yeah.
Phenomenal OPEX coach. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to look at those things, and like Harley's talking about bridging the gap, and I think that's a higher level thing that athletes don't even understand
I
unless
don't
they've
even
been
think
coaching.
they really need to understand.
No, they don't. They don't. But it's good to know so you could try to change your language, change your perspective. Because
Right.
if an athlete understands a little bit, then we could cut through this issue. Like, I don't want to pick on Cody because I know he meant well with the 200 total bar thing, and like he's learning and he understands it. And sometimes he's just like me, where he'll be nonstop about something, and I'll just be like, stop, we need to stop this conversation. But it is a thing where like it's not the total bar, dude. Like, you're so good as an athlete now that it's the next layer. And something that stood out to me is some people were saying, like from Crash, was like, oh, people are really fit. And they're using this term fit. And it's like, well, what does that mean? Because that's another bridge that you got to gap.
That's the bridge that I need to learn how to gap.
The bridge.
The bridge. Yeah, I mean, I think back to your like delivery limited, locally limited, or uptake. It's in my mind what Heather was just saying. Like, she was like, oh, people always say like my arms blew up. And it's like, if you have like a muscular blow up, your grip goes out, your biceps are so pumped that you can't do another chest to bar, like your abs start to cramp. Like, I think of that as like generally a local muscular endurance issue.
Yep.
Generally, if someone also cannot breathe while and then they're experiencing cramping, it might be an aerobic base issue that you're not actually able to deliver the oxygen effectively, the oxygenated blood effectively to the tissue. The tissue may be totally ready to take on more oxygen, but if you have a weak heart and you're not able to actually like circulate the blood effectively or not take enough oxygen, then therefore you may just be starving your muscles of oxygen and they're basically getting overrun or not able to clear the lactate. Then there's, that sort of higher level of general like systemic, I think, aerobic process where the best in the world are so good at clearing lactate and clearing waste product, getting new oxygen in and not spilling over that lactate threshold, which is it's a very specific line, the lactate threshold, like from a physiological marker. But like once you get into a mixed setting of CrossFit, like what that actually means is very interesting. Cause like if you have something that is, a couple years back in the quarterfinals, there was that 3-round workout of wall balls and burpee box jump overs. And I was like, oh, this is their 5K run. This is their aerobic test. Right. And so on paper, it's, weightlifting and gymnastics from a categorization standpoint of CrossFit. And yet it's creating this metabolic response of aerobic that rewards the most aerobic people. And so like, do you think those people are muscularly limited from a muscular endurance standpoint? No. Do you think that those 19 was not the right answer? To be clear.
It's an aerobic test, but yeah.
19-1 is an aerobic test of wall balls for sure.
Yeah, but it's not the answer. Just do it every day.
Right.
Oh my God. I would quit.
Yeah.
I go to Burn Bootcamp. Oh wait. They do CrossFit now too.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, what I was gonna say is like the people who won that workout are the most systemically aerobic, right? They probably don't have a muscular endurance issue of their legs and hips. They probably have a great aerobic base, can provide their musculature with oxygenated blood effectively. And their slow twitch fibers are so good at uptaking lactate that when they start to spill over that lactate threshold, they're just like clearing it right away or sending it to their smooth muscle fibers, which are organs, right? Like filtration organs. So like that said, like that was a lot of fancy words to say like the fittest person wins, but you need to understand where your limiter is in those kind of 3 categories. And like, if you already have muscular endurance and you already do a ton of aerobic work, well, then that systemic sort of equation that I kind of outlined of like that that workout example, if you've already sort of bridged the gap of those two and you can express really high-end muscular endurance qualities and you can go really, really long in endurance or have aerobic power on machines for a long period of time, you're probably not aerobically limited, like from a delivery standpoint. But how do we bridge the gap between muscular endurance and that within the mixed setting? I guess that's like the biggest problem that I'm trying to figure out right now.
It's hard remotely.
Right.
but in person, and you can do this, and Renata's in the comments. This is why I wanted to do the blood lactate testing. And we did this at Brute, and they probably still do it. Well, I know they do it because actually, I'm drawing a blank right now.
I hate to go on a
What's his-
rant and
what's his-
say
what's
I
the
have to
boy's
go
name?
now, but I have to go now.
All
So
right, see you later.
you guys take
Rude.
that seed and continue the conversation for the people.
Nice.
Down pepper.
What's the thing
live
you are
feed.
working on, Harley?
Harley's trying to figure out how to make the perfect interval training for the athletes to increase blood lactate to a high degree that then teaches their body to cycle that through by using their type 1 fibers to pull out the blood lactate to keep exercise happening, but then also figure out what the proper rest recovery interval is and what movement patterns
No,
don't
I
blow
can say
them up
this
so
more
much.
simple. I can say this
No,
more
I
simple.
want to make it more
Tristan,
complex for Tristan.
Tristan, I want to take someone who has all the components of a really, really, really high level athlete and make them a better CrossFitter. All right, we can talk about it later. Send me a message on Instagram. Bye.
He's going to
See you,
tell you
dude.
interval training.
Bye.
Interval. He's got to go to the dentist. Interval training. I don't know. He always has to go to the dentist. That's why I said that. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Oh. Well, let me know. And only me know when you figure that out. Perfect. So we can get rich. It is. You know what? It's funny is I almost said oxygen because Cody's comment. I think interval training is the answer, to be honest.
Mhm.
But it's not that simple. Like that's why I gave that long-winded thing where he was like, but it's not that simple because you have to. I gave this analogy. We have the EMOM club on Tuesdays, and a lot of that's just building volume, and we've talked about it a little bit. But I gave the analogy, and I should probably just do a video and put it on the internet and put it in our Slack for people. But I gave the analogy because it's easy enough to know that like you have buckets, or containers, small, medium, large container. You could have lots of different containers, but we're going to go with small, medium, large. Then I gave 3 blocks: small block, medium block, large block. The containers are your capacity. It's what you can put in the container. And the aerobic development, like Harley's talking about, is the container itself. That's pretty much how you can build, like on a basic level, you can accelerate your process. Most elite athletes have a really big container. We know that because their work capacity across broad times mole domains.
Mhm.
The blocks are the movements or the repetitions of movements or the loading parameters of movements. If movements are too hard, I'm taking a lot of big blocks and putting them in my big container. I can't do a lot because the blocks take up too much space. So what I need to do is take that block and turn it into a medium-sized block and then fill up the container. And then I need to turn that block into a small-sized block and fill up the container over time. So you take, let's say, a 185 snatch, and that's a big ass block for you, and you put it in your big container because you're super aerobic. Or vice versa, you're really strong, but you're not aerobic, and you have a small container, and you can't even fit it in the block, or in the container, which you see, and you're trying to figure out that equation. That is my analogy for what Harley is talking about. But you can see how that can get so robust because in CrossFit, if you just take the open workouts or the open movements, there's 23 most common workout movements. Then there's repetitions. There's look at Cody's mad because I'm talking about EMOM Club. The number 1 rules we don't talk. That was a joke because of Fight Club. Anyways, you now have to go through every single movement, every single optional loading parameter, every single combination, so for us, we're using those EMOMs to do that and help people sift through. Now, the EMOM Club is not a template, a blog style program design because everybody's doing the same thing. But we've talked about the context for people. So like in on-site, when people are doing it, some people are doing a little more calories, a little less calories, changing the stuff. And when I write it for the off-site people, because I want them to get the same benefit that we're getting here, and I can cipher through the data, the results that are coming through, it's looking at like, how do we change the blocks? Like in my mind, it's like, how do I manipulate this to then change the block from big to small? And how can I put more of those blocks into your container? Or am I build, like for me, I need to build the container. That's why I raised my hand when I was talking about, even the workout today, it wasn't an issue of And I actually am really proud of myself. I did all the shoulder overhead unbroken, even though I said I didn't want to. And Cody told me to go 6'4", which is a very good plan. But I said, nay, sir, I'm going to challenge
Nay.
myself. And I'm going to do them all unbroken. Actually, my plan was like to do it for 3 rounds. And when it felt good, I was like, just keep doing it. You're a man. You can do it. That was my internal thought process just for everybody. And I did that. So like I took that, and like the whole time, really the only thing that got tough was my breathing and my heart rate. And we already all know that. Everybody's worked out with me and trained with me and watched my training program and watched me develop and watched me ebb and flow from better and worse and everything else. We all know if I just get out on the road and run, I'm going to be a better CrossFitter.
I mean, I would agree with that for myself as well, because I don't think it was the actual volume of the work. It was the aerobic fitness.
Yeah. Let's see what Tristan says, because he was listening to all that. And I think it makes sense to him. The other thing I think is helpful for people is realize is some movement require more oxygen. Yeah, that's the block size, my analogy there. Have a higher VO2 response than others in those moments, and loads are good to train often. Correct. We covered this actually a couple of weeks ago of the PRR, when you create pressure, blood pressure, and that requires more demand, which is what Tristan's getting at, is a heavy load, or in my analogy, larger block requires more blood flow because it increases the pressure and everything else and shuttling and all that shit. So yes, 100%. And like, it's good to have people know that, because you do hit your peak because of external response from mechanical tension. Typically it can happen in gymnastics. If a gymnastics movement is pretty hard, like you think about a ring muscle up, it feels like if you're not, even if you're trying to breathe, you still get that winded feeling when you come out of a set of ring muscle ups and you're like, oh my God, even though you were like active, and it happens to me and everybody else, even if they're actively breathing when they're doing the ring muscle ups, you know? And it's like, yeah, you can't avoid that in that movement. There's other movements where you can't avoid that.
Yeah.
Or you just get really fit and never feel it. You know, those are the superhumans. Look at Tristan. And yes, 100% agree. Running is goated if all things are equal. Yeah, Tristan knows me pretty well. I'm skilled, strong enough for an almost 40-year-old dude who just likes to play CrossFit. What did Cody say? I hope he razzed me about the 135.
He did.
Well, the way he talked about 135, you would have thought the loading was 300 pounds shoulder overhead. Yeah,
I mean,
man.
that's true. You were talking like,
dude, I was
like
mad.
205
I was so nervous about it. I hate it. I really hate. That's one of the things I don't. I'm not great. I'm good at heavier loads. Like I can move a barbell, but I don't like moderate load, moderate weight, or moderate rep, moderate load, shoulder overhead. I don't like it. Bothers me. I don't like
That's how you really feel.
10 to 20 reps at 135 to 185 in that window just bothers me. I just hate it. Same thing with like 135, 115, 95 to 135 clean and jerks. Oh my God. Like when you got to do like 30 to 50 reps, it's the worst. Like I look at that training and I'm like, oh no.
I like that stuff.
Yeah. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Yes, cross fat. Correct. Bigger muscles demand more oxygen. Correct. Just be a little leany linguini like Luca. But then you can't lift worth shit. So it's a balance of that, which is crazy to think about. Like remember, well, 2 examples. Noah Olson, the year he tried to dip down into 185, lost all the weight, posted on Instagram, told his whole story, and then did worse. Same thing. Hunter McIntyre, well, actually the reverse problem. He got bigger, talked about on his podcast, how then he shit the bed at High Rocks because he was too big.
Yep.
Stations went great, running was bad. So it is, and Hunter has talked ad nauseum of this, and I'm going to believe him. He's a great athlete. He works with athletes. He trains with the big boys. He's got a huge training crew. He's got a ton of experience at the peak, and everybody has their perfect power to weight ratio for themselves. And I know actually even Ben Bergeron got a lot of flack for this about the body fat percentage. And maybe it was just the time that he said it and like people attacked him. But there is a truth to that. There is a perfect body fat percentage for sport to be the best that you can be. And that number can be different for everybody. But I always say, and people hate this, and it can create problems and disorders, but leaner is better as long as performance does not drop. Unfortunately, people don't like that. They don't like hearing that. Let's see. Tristan and CrossFat are going at it. I don't know if they are or not. I just see a lot of comments. From
They're just talking about how to, like, if you've got someone that's thicker, that's got more muscle, like how do you train so that they don't expend more oxygen?
Yeah, read the comment and then you expand on that, Tyler. I love it.
Tristan said, so you build the ability to deliver oxygen to the muscle tissue and build the muscle's ability to clear lactate with muscle endurance training and lactate threshold training.
Easier said than done.
Yeah. But one of the things that I've been doing a lot with my athletes lately is interval training, but active rest to help with that idea of like, so instead of just like sitting still during your rest, you're actively moving to clear it out so that you're teaching your body to get rid of it while still moving instead of just like having to stop.
You want to know something really interesting?
Yes.
I've had my wife, I'll tell her, it's not even a secret. It's a biological response for my wife when she was training. Literally echo bike sprints. Just so you guys know, she does 189 calories in 10-minute tests. So she's no slouch. She's fucking boss echo bike. Not assault bike, echo bike. There's a difference there also. When she stops working in those intervals and training the echo bike, her heart rate goes up. Mm-hmm. If she does slow moving, her body clears all that stuff. And yes, Tristan, that is absurd. Boss, echo bike champ. Her goal was to do 200 cals in 10 minutes, which I know she can do. We always had something come up, never made it through a full training block. So the most she's ever done is 189. She's also the 50 cal echo for Rogue challenge. She got like second in that 1 year. Beat Caroline Prevost. She's got superhuman echo bike powers, dude. It's wild. She loves that thing. Like Jace was talking about mental toughness, bro. You come over to the you got to come to Rochester. I'll let Marissa put you through SEAL school, dude. You probably leave crying. Like she will. Heather, back me up. True or false?
True.
Hey, look at this. Tyler, that is a great tool, dude. Look at that. You got compliments. Killing it. Yeah, those are good ways to bridge the gap. I think the main thing is like, and I like that Harley brought up this conversation. I know that there was some confusion in his text because I thought they were like a qualifier open season and like leading prep. And those would be great to talk about too. But you can notice that it's not as simple, as I think some of these training camps or coaches make it out to be. And we're all just doing our best. Like you can take these theoretical ideas and then you got to get in the kitchen and mix up the cake and see how it comes out of the oven, and you're going to make mistakes. And I do think even the best coaches, and that's the other thing too. Like I would try not to. And I think early on when I was a coach, I put a lot of other coaches on a pedestal, and it's good to go in that direction and like learn those things and everything else. But like I've made a ton of mistakes with athletes and learning. Like Heather jokes about that all the time. But I'm also grateful for the opportunity she gave me to work with her. And I know, you're killing Fist of the Coast. I feel like this is it. This is the moment. She's not. Her score is great. She's not going to get last place. But it's cool to see that, it just takes time sometimes. And coaches learning, there are a lot of coaches that don't really know anything. And they still got to get their stripes. And we could talk about that in another podcast. Marissa has sent over a really cool inspiration to have a conversation about it, which is worth having. And I don't want to dampen anybody into getting into coaching, but, in being real with people and like getting and growing and learning, you got to get with somebody. Like if you're really trying to bridge the gap, like Jace being with Harley, like that's going to help bridge the gap because Jace could be with somebody not so good and just not getting the results that he's getting now. And that's because of like, even this, what we're talking about, it's much more complex than what you're seeing on Instagram of like, interference training. You got to do this volume and these things and those things. And like, sometimes too, going from one coach to the other, that doesn't help. You got to like learn from people. And then it's like stay with somebody because Victoria asked me this the other night because I have my wife coach me. And I was like, she's I was like, hey, you don't have to coach for me anymore. I'm just going to kind of like float in the sea. And I don't really care about getting better. I'm just going to stay fit, have a good time. And then she like slapped me around a little bit. I was like, no, you want to get better. So, but the other thing that Victoria asked, she's like, well, you have other capable coaches. Would you have another like coach you or whatever? I was like, never, because she's been with me the longest in training next to Heather, but like actively has taken roles in like, I think of like the COVID when we were in the barn and like she's watching me program for myself. She's watching me suck and have bias and like do this and that and everything else. And that knowing of me as an athlete is like what we're talking about biologically.
Mhm.
You don't need a piece of equipment to know that like I'm delivery limited, you know, because she's learned that through the experience of watching me work out, seeing results, being with me there, talking about my psychology. And that what you build there is the biggest characteristic that will help you bridge a gap. And that takes a lot of time. Like I'm talking about Marissa watching me from 2016 all the way to coaching me last year. And I had the best open for myself in the last like 5 years, which, you know, there's a lot of coaching in there and I've like not really trained or whatever else. I had a really good open during the COVID year because we were all locked down and everyone had a great open that year. Everyone's scores, turnouts were good. I think personally, looking at the information and data, but like that can't, like Jace is saying, the amount of trust and even like beyond the trust, just knowing, I guess trust is the right word, but just like knowing, you know, Harley knowing what's going to happen to Jace. Like I think biologically and performance wise and mentality, Harley knows what's going to happen to Jace before Jace knows what's going to happen.
Hmm.
And that's why it works that way. And then they have a good relationship and everything else. And there's learning going on and everything else. And it would be incredibly hard to replace. And the more time you're with Harley, the more it's going to be hard to replace because you just have to start the process over again with a new coach. And that's okay to do. That's totally fine. If that's what you need to do or want to do, or you want to try something different, that happens all the time. But there is like what Jace is saying, and I agree with that. I've seen it over and over and over. And yeah, it's you don't need, like, you could just, if someone came into the gym and was like, I'm coming from a new coach, and we start using all the tools and we do Moxie monitors, we do VO2 max, we do lactate threshold, we do run all the tests, we have conversations, we look at every comp you've ever done, and we do a really hard intensive for me to learn about you. Sure, I think we could bridge a gap of that pretty quick, but over time, you can do that on its own, even remotely, and like no one's going to know you better than they do.
Yeah.
I'll quit before I break up with my mom. Is that what you said?
It's man.
Oh, my man. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, so that, all that to be said, even like the scientific-y things, like scientific-y, that was retarded. Scientific things. Yeah, you need to know those. You have to have knowledge, the technical capacity, all of those things, but you also have to build that relationship and go through the process of being okay with a coach saying, hey, what did you feel? What do you think? What did that, like, what are you experiencing? What did that look like? This is what I saw. This is where I think we can improve. And the last little thing, like I would say, is like that should be the job of the coach. Whereas sometimes I think athletes want the coach to be like rah proud of you. That should happen. I'm not saying we shouldn't celebrate things. I'm pretty bad at that. I need to improve on celebrating people's wins. I've worked over it the last year. I think I've gotten better, but my first instinct is to watch. I did this actually with Hannah and Cody. Cody coaches Hannah. And my first instinct was to be like, well, she can improve the total bar, blah, 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 blah. And like, then I thought about it and it's like, fuck, she improved that workout and got a better score. And I should be like, my first thing should be like, hey, you did a great job, blah, blah, blah. Like, Cody, good job coaching, like, and praising people for the efforts. But I'm always in like, all right, what's the next step? How do we get better mode versus praising? And that's a downfall I have, but something to work on. And I think that piece of it brings in the science and what we're talking about, bridging the gap and a holistic approach to coaching and training, like people say. And hopefully that gave like real context to that phrase of holistic approach, I hope. Because I hate when people say things and there's like no context. It's like, yeah, we do a holistic approach to coaching. And it's like, Well, what does that mean?
Right.
So cool, guys. I think that one was good. Harley's got some great topics. I do think I would enjoy talking about the some of the posts that Marissa sent over earlier, but it was like 5 minutes before the podcast. Yes, dude, I said scientific-y.
Mhm.
Dumb. I feel so dumb. That's okay. It's okay to feel dumb. You guys got anything? We got so many shout outs. Congratulations, Jace. You crushed it, dude.
Yeah.
Hopefully
did.
that post was sick and you you liked the caption. I think the caption was cool. I want to pump you up. There's a lot of strong boys out there, fit boys. But I know you're still watching. You are one of those fit boys. Take that confidence and like live it.
Yeah.
And then get back to work after this week and you could be a piece of trash in the next training block. So then that way you got to stay humble, right? You be the big dog this week. Come Monday, you're back on the bottom of the totem pole. Okay.
Yeah.
I had to Google what it meant. It doesn't mean anything. It was weird. It came out of my mouth. Tristan throwing up the congrats to Jace. Solid weekend, dude. It was fun to watch. Happy you got into that higher heat, so they streamed it live. Kind of sucked. I mean, they did a great job. That live was good. Sad they took out. It's a lot of work. That's why they took out those earlier heats. So
Yeah.
sucks. But hey, man, we got to watch that final flip sled and handstand and your rope climb workout, dude. Solid. Such a sick final day. So good work. Cool to watch you do that. Again, take it with you. We got CJ coming up. Gonna go to Lowlands. You guys will be like early morning viewing. They're gonna have a live. I told her to go out there and crush it so she can be on the live feed. I was like, I didn't say that to her. She's gonna watch this now, or she's watching. You got to crush it so you can be on the live feed. I hate how they only show like the winners sometimes, but Crash Crucible, they didn't do that. They had good panorama. They had good. It was good event. What else? We got anything else? We got finishing up for this coast. We got a lot of people in the qualifying positions. We got a lot of people in the bubble of qualifying positions, and we got a lot of people crossing their fingers that there's backfills. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see. I would have been down for a full field camera view. Yeah, for those first full heats. Me too. Yeah, Crash. They could have done that. That would have been fine. CrossFit Games going to be in our hometown, Heather. San Jose, California.
Yeah.
SAP Center. There's a Whole Foods right there. Sick.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why they chose
I
it.
mean, the arena is exactly like the one in Albany, but
No, it is not anything like that.
well, no, the
Do
arena is the arena is, but the
No,
area
it's like
is
every
not.
other
The
arena
area
in the
is
world.
way
No,
better.
do not do that. Albany was
The
oh my
arena? I'm
God.
saying it was like the same arena.
No, SAP Center
I'm
is
just-
way higher quality
Okay.
than
Okay.
no. Albany was terrible.
Okay. Well,
But I enjoyed myself, but it was terrible.
it's going to be that same vibe, is what I'm getting at.
It's going to be a
the
better
quality
vibe.
of the stadium. Sure,
It's going to be a
probably
better vibe. And you know why I know it's going to be a better vibe? Because we saw Mr. Rich Froning, the
True.
first ever CrossFitter in competition
300
to
pound
snatch
snatch, I
300
know.
in nanos. I saw
in that
these-
arena.
In that arena with
Yeah.
these eyes.
Yeah.
These eyes, okay?
Yeah.
We saw it. It was sick. Oh,
Yeah.
Marissa says she's going to be the judge of that.
Yeah. But I will say it'll be
Albany
a
was
better,
amped.
it'll be a better area.
Dude, yeah, you go
More
down the
things to
street
do.
to shoot, what's John Carlo's family's burrito place called? Then their Italian place. What's it called? John Carlo.
I know who you're talking about. I don't remember what it's called.
Rosalina's Cafe, dude.
Yes.
When you're down there,
The
Rosalina's
breakfast
Cafe,
burritos.
go down from the SAP Center. You are going to have the best breakfast burritos of your life. And
Yeah.
this is something that CrossFit won't even be able to tell you about. Yeah, Mama G's, garlic knots. Oh, wait. Oh, right here. Mama G's, garlic knots, baby. Oh, my God. You guys don't even know. If you've got this far in the podcast and you're going to go out to
You
San
want to know
Jose,
all the spots? You tell us.
come ask me. We'll tell you everything. You want to know where to get yourself a slushy that has alcohol in it, a Keys,
No,
Campbell.
No.
Oh, dude, Blackout City.
Yeah,
if you guys
you're
know.
only allowed to have one.
Yeah, or 3 or 4, whatever you want.
3 or 4 will put you in a bush.
Phil's coffee. We're going hard right now, dude. Yeah, Peters. People don't know about it. You guys don't know about it. We'll help you out. We'll teach you all the spots. Just like when people try to teach me about places out here in New York. It's
Yeah, see, Marissa
Thumbs
knows
down.
Noah Keys.
Truth.
That's bad news bears.
Noah Keys, bro. That should be a sign that if you're out there to party, go to the Keys.
I mean, the
Look.
food's great. The booze will put you on your face. I'll put you
Yeah,
and say
dude.
that.
Yeah. When I was in college, bro. Yeah, let's go.
Oh, the counter. Good
The
one,
counter is
Marissa.
good. Yeah. Cool. Hyped. Hyped that it's there. We know the area. You will not be disappointed. It's California. It's sick.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
be good.
I mean, I just want to go just to see all my friends and go to all those places we just talked about.
Screw the games. I'm just gonna go eat and drink all the food, hang out.
No, I'll still go. I'll still go to the games. But I'm just saying. Yeah. And Jace did comment. He said, what did he say about quarters? He said, maybe for quarters. When I was talking about Marissa helping him learn how to melt his face off. I've always joked about that, dude. I don't know how it is. She should write a book. Something's different. I think all female basketball players are just tough as nails for whatever reason. It's crazy. But
It's because they were, what was it, Tybo together?
yeah, they tried to beat the DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Crazy. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah. All right. We will. We're gonna try to do a pack suite. Let's just get on that. Let's hit them up now. SAP Center, dude. That'd be sick. We could do program design from the top. And like we wanted to do last year, data collection and stuff, which I did a little bit of. That was hard. It'd be fun though. I like that. I don't think everybody would want to sit and watch and be like, all right, they did 10 of those reps in this amount of time. I like it, but
I'm just hyped it's gonna be back in San Jose. That'll be cool.
yeah, I can't wait for the burrito.
Mhm.
Sick. And go to the 2 affiliates that I used to own that are still in business, crushing it. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that they still do that.
Yeah.
Bringing fitness to the people, man. To the people. All right. See you guys next week. We got some good ones. Thanks to Harley and Marissa. So we got some content for probably the next 4 or 5 weeks. We've been struggling. I know TTT has also been struggling too. That's why they put out, what do you guys want to hear on the podcast? It's hard to talk about stuff. Everyone's talking about something all the time. And because we only do the show once a week, I feel like someone's already talked about it. So let us know. That was a great deep dive today. That was good. Highlight to Tyler, dude. Killed it. Killed it, dog.